It's the day after Nebraska's eye-opening blowout loss versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers 24-6. And man, oh man, over these past couple hours, I painfully rewatched the game, looked over the stats, and I've come up with 5 massive nuggets that we learned in yesterday's loss. And the big question, where do the Huskers go from here, and can we save this season? So really quick, this is going to be a very honest video. I will be unfiltered. We will talk about everything, trust me. But hey, if you're still excited about the rest of Nebraska season, because I know I am, hit that like button. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Listen, we have the best family at Husker YouTube of over 13,000 strong. This is the only channel on YouTube that posts daily content talking your favorite team, talking Nebraska, win or loss. And we're getting so close to 14K. Help us hit 14,000. Join this family. It's a no-brainer. Takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, we have a lot to talk about. This is going to be a very honest video. I will be unfiltered. We will talk about the cons, all of them. Some of the pros that we can build off of, where we go from here, changes that need to be made. But I want to get things started with, in my opinion, the biggest takeaway from yesterday. And it wasn't even particularly close. What do we do with Nebraska's offensive line? Because it feels like we continue to hit rock bottom. We thought we hit rock bottom versus Michigan. We were wrong. We thought we hit rock bottom versus Michigan State. We were wrong. And granted, we played against a decent pass rush yesterday in Minnesota, but they're not top 20 America. They're certainly not the best in the Big Ten. They're above average. And yet, we made them look elite. Yesterday, Nebraska had one of the worst offensive line performances in the history of this program. 9 total sacks given up. Raiola was pressured on almost every single drop back, but it wasn't just that. We couldn't create any holes in the running game for Emmett Johnson. He played well at times, but there was no gaps in the A gap. There's no gaps in the B gap. Whenever he had a big play, he was bouncing outside because he could not run in between the tackles because there was nothing there. There was no push in the run game. I mean, let's talk about some specific players. Elijah Pritchett. He was terrible once again. That shouldn't be a shocker to anybody. Gave up a sack very early on, gave up a crucial holding penalty, and then was kicked out of the ball game for a boneheaded targeting call. How do you have a targeting called on you as an offensive tackle? He's been bad off the field since he got to Nebraska, before he got Nebraska at Alabama. So he's not a good player on the field. He's not good off the field. We're paying him $1 million. And yet, funny enough, he's probably Nebraska's offensive tackle, despite him being horrific, despite him giving up almost double-digit sacks this season at this point. So if he's our best offensive tackle, that says a lot about the rest of this unit. Gunnar Gatula, let's call it what it is. One of the worst offensive tackle performances we've ever seen, gave up 4 total sacks on the day. Rocco Spindler got banged up after the first drive and wasn't seen again. He's injured. It's an all-around failure. And there are a million issues with this offensive line. I mean, right off the bat, I was wrong. It's a talent issue. We just aren't talented enough. We don't have the guys at all. Okay, they aren't big. They look like they didn't deserve to be on the same football field as Minnesota yesterday. They don't use their hands well. They don't use their feet well. Sure, they were 4 stars and 5 stars coming out of high school, but if you don't produce, it doesn't matter at all. Okay, they clearly aren't developed well. That falls on Davila, that falls on Dane Holgerson, that even falls on Matt Rhule. And then, honestly, the big thing, they just aren't coached well in the slightest. Okay, they miss basic blocking assignments that you see in high school. They can't communicate with each other. You know, I'll throw an example. There will be times yesterday where there would be a free rusher coming off of the edge that the tackle would completely ignore. And he'd have a direct path to Raiola. Emmett Johnson would have a step in his way, and Emmett Johnson would get bull rushed. Because when there's a linebacker who's going at a full head of steam, he's 50 pounds heavier than you, what else is going to happen? Okay, this offensive tackle position, they can't communicate with each other. Nobody can communicate. They just don't do the basics right. Okay, so it's not that they're completely not talented. They have talent, and sure, they maybe developed a little bit over the course of the year, but again, the basic block assignments they can't even get down, that you've done since JV high school football. It's ridiculous. I've never seen anything like it. Okay, so that falls on the coaching staff. It also falls on the coaching staff that we've had multiple penalties, holding penalties, false starts. Again, it's all the basics. So the big question is, what do we do with Raiola? Because I know the talk has been ramping up about him potentially getting fired, moving on, getting a new offensive line coach. Let's be honest. Raiola will never be fired. It doesn't matter whether or not he deserves it. He's done a horrific job. We can be honest about that. He probably does not deserve to be Nebraska's offensive line coach any longer. But we know that the second Raiola gets fired here, Dylan will leave the next day. Because it's family. Okay, it's personal. And if you fire Dylan's uncle, that was part of the reason he came here, he's going to leave too. It's crazy because Donovan's part of the reason why Dylan's so injured and isn't playing well. Donovan's actively sabotaging Dylan every single game. And yet, if Donovan leaves, Dylan will too. And also should be mentioned, and here's the hard truth around Matt Rhule. Matt Rhule does not fire coaches. He did not fire Marcus Satterfield. Marcus Satterfield was one of the worst offensive coordinators in America last year. He did not fire him. He did not fire Ed Foley. Matt Rhule, unfortunately, does not have the stones to fire coaches. We've seen that. And also, Matt Rhule is very tight with Dylan. It's getting to the point where it's a little bit strange. Like, they're best friends off the field. They hang out off the field, as a head coach and a quarterback. Do you really think that Matt Rhule is going to risk having Dylan move on if he fires Donovan? No. Regardless of the fact that Dylan even hasn't played it well. And we'll talk about him. So that's the thing about Matt Rhule. And also, here, I want to talk about Matt Rhule really briefly before we get to our second segment. I'm tired of Matt Rhule lying to us. It's either he's completely naive and doesn't know what he's talking about, or he's lying to us and he's giving us the same old politician stuff. Okay, he looked us dead in our face all offseason long, in July specifically, and he told every Nebraska fan that the offensive line would be a strength of this team and that it would be top 20 in America. You're right, Matt Rhule, it is top 20 in America. It's top 20 worst in America. It's been horrific. He told us at Big Ten Media Days that he's not concerned about the defensive line, that it would be hell on wheels. The defensive line is also one of the worst in America. And yesterday, after we lost to Minnesota in horrific fashion, he said that he was shocked about the result and didn't see it coming. And he thought we were going to dominate. How can you say that? So it's either you're naive, Matt Rhule, and you have no idea what you're looking at in practice, and you had no idea the offensive line would be this bad, and no idea the defensive line would be this bad, or you're just lying to all of us, and you think we're stupid. Which one is it? Because I think it's a little bit of both. So I'm frustrated with that. We'll talk about Matt Rhule as this video goes on, right? What we do with him going forward, obviously, when he needs to improve. But I just want him to be more honest because, again, he told us a lot of stuff that's completely untrue about this team. Going on to the second segment. Let's talk about the rest of the offensive disaster because it wasn't just the offensive line. It was an all-out failure throughout the entire team. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about Dylan. And sure, he had his moments yesterday. Again, he had the left-handed pass, the Patrick Mahomes diving throw that looked really good. It's going to be on highlight reels. And I'm not going to sit here and say Dylan Raiola was the number one issue because he wasn't. It was an all-around team issue. Everybody failed, but Dylan was also part of that. He did not play well. And this is coming off multiple bad weeks from Dylan. He did not play well versus Michigan State. He was the only reason the game versus Maryland was close. Okay, he threw 3 interceptions versus Maryland. He was horrific. And every single week, everybody defends him because we see the highs. We see the talent. Trust me. I love Dylan as much as the next person. But we also have to acknowledge his flaws. And he is a deeply flawed quarterback, and that showed up yesterday. Drake Lindsey outplayed him in all 4 quarters. A second-year quarterback just like him, who was not a big-time recruit. Dylan Raiola, yes, does not have any time in the pocket. The offensive line is horrible. I'll be the first to admit it. But Dylan takes way too many sacks. Okay, the best quarterbacks don't need to be Superman all the time. Okay, when there is an edge rusher coming right at you, you need to throw the ball away. You just need to. And oftentimes he steps up in the pocket, tries to make something happen, he takes a snap. He has no pocket presence. Okay, the best quarterbacks throw the ball away. He does not. The only time we've seen him throw the ball away all season was against Maryland, and he threw an interception trying to get out of bounds. So he takes way too many sacks. His deep ball actually is awful. It's been that way since his true freshman season. He obviously overthrew Dane Key very early on the ball game. There's a fade route they do every single game to Dane Key. They do it literally every single game. When we're inside the red zone, they throw a fade ball to Dane Key. I kid you not. In 7 out of the 7 games this year, Dylan has overthrown Dane Key on the exact same play in man and one-on-one coverage. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny. I've never seen anything like it. His touch is awful on deep balls. It's just awful. It really is. He doesn't have any vision whatsoever. The wide receivers were open at sometimes. They were open. Dane Key was open, Jacory was open, and Dylan just wasn't seeing them. And also, it should be mentioned that Minnesota, most of their secondary was injured. They had 2 guys who were out in this ball game. And yet, we made their secondary look really good. So again, I'm not saying it was all on Dylan. People will misconstrue my words, but Dylan did play bad yesterday. We need to have that conversation. We can't continue to defend him. There are literally Nebraska fans who will defend Dylan Raiola to their grave. They would rather defend Dylan Raiola than see this team do well. Okay, Dylan did not play well. He's not played well this season. Okay, he is an average quarterback. This is what he is. I can't even say he's above average. He's average. If you get out-dueled by Drake Lindsey, it says a lot about you. Okay, now, should he be benched? Absolutely not. He should not be benched. Okay, and we've had this conversation before. If you put TJ out there, TJ might be able to give us a little bit of something, but you'll ruin him very early on with this horrific offensive line. You'll ruin him. We have got to nurture TJ. We owe Dylan to give him the rest of the season. Hopefully he can figure it out. But again, if it continues to look like this, we continue to lose, we need to have some tough conversations going next year. Maybe TJ can get an opportunity sooner rather than later. As for the rest of the offense, it wasn't much better. The receivers had another stinker performance. Dane Key, in 2 of the last 3 games, has had 0 receptions for 0 yards. That's unacceptable. For the amount of money we paid him, for all the hype coming out of Kentucky, for you to have 0 catches versus Minnesota and 0 catches versus Michigan State, it's unbelievable. Jacory had 1 catch for 1 yard. Nyziah Hunter played well at times, but had a crucial drop in the ball game. When your best receivers on the day are Luke Lindenmeyer and Quinn Clark, oh my goodness, that says a lot about you. It says a lot about this receiver core. And also, Dana Holgorsen, man, was awful. He's another guy who consistently lies to us in press conferences. He said that he was going to stick with the run this week, that he was going to feed Emmett Johnson. Where was that? Where was that? Okay, we consistently went away from Emmett Johnson. The only thing consistent about our offense is how inconsistent it truly is. Okay, Dana, for whatever reason, when the run game's working, he goes away from it because he tries to set up the pass. That's his bread and butter. He likes to pass football. He's an air raid coach at his heart. Okay, and we have a borderline air raid offense this year. Unfortunately for us, we can't throw the football very well for a multitude of issues, for a multitude of reasons. So, again, there would be times where we were inside the red zone, we couldn't make anything happen. We were 3 for 11 on 3rd down today. We put up 6 points for crying out loud. We need to start to have tough conversations about Dana because, again, the game playing's been horrific. The in-game play calling's been horrific. We should not have to have this conversation after the Minnesota game. We shouldn't. 6 points? Are you kidding me against that defense? PJ Fluke looked like a genius going up against Dana yesterday. The offense was absolutely abysmal. As for the defense, again, it wasn't much better either. Again, it was an all-around failure. We made Minnesota's offense look really good. We made Drake Lindsey look like a Heisman candidate. The secondary was pathetic. We only gave 150 passing yards, which, still is one of the better in America. We're still, again, top 5 right now, but it was mostly a tackling issue. Okay, they ran all over us. They were one of the worst rushing offenses in the Big Ten all year long, and then they had their coronation day against us. Okay, Marcus Buford can never play again for Nebraska. He needs to be benched for the rest of the year, for the rest of his career. He only has 1 year left. He got benched versus Michigan for giving up a crucial tackle on a 75-yard to Justice Hayes. He went all the way for a touchdown. He got benched. He came back in the ball game versus Minnesota. He got a second opportunity. And what did he do? Stretch play to Darius Taylor on the right-hand side. Marcus Buford took the worst angle you've ever seen, missed the tackle, and gave up a big-time run. Minnesota broke the game wide open. And then Marcus Buford was benched and never seen again. He's terrible. One of the worst tacklers I've ever seen at the safety position. Sierra Wright missed a crucial tackle on a 3rd down that kept the drive going for Minnesota. They were very good on 3rd downs. Andrew Marshall missed a lot of tackles and had a holding on a 4th down that was crucial. And Donovan Jones all around. Donovan Jones is getting exposed. He's getting picked apart. The offenses are literally targeting Donovan Jones because of how bad he's in man coverage. He gave up a touchdown reception. He had a crucial pass interference in the 4th quarter. We have so much young talent in the secondary. Give other guys opportunities because Donovan Jones isn't it. He's had a bad season. It's not just this game. It's been all Big Ten play for him. He's not good in man coverage. He's inconsistent with the tackling. He's not as physical as he used to be. Why not put in a Larry Tarver and Amari Sanders, Mario Buford? We have a lot of talented young guys. Give other guys reps because Donovan Jones, he's not working. And teams are going after him constantly because they know he's a liability. Defensive line was bad. Defensive line was probably as bad as the offensive line. I know we like to talk about the offensive line, but the D-line only had 1 sack on the day. That was because of a blitz. Again, the Minnesota's starting running back, Darius Taylor, had 6 yards to carry. We couldn't stop the run today. Again, we had no pass rush whatsoever. He had all day in the pocket. It's unbelievable. Again, when you get dominated in the trenches in Big Ten play, you will lose every single day of the week, especially against a team like Minnesota. Again, I can accept it if we get dominated versus Michigan. It is what it is. Michigan's a good team. But when you get dominated versus Minnesota, oh my goodness, that says a lot about you. It says a lot about the coaching staff. It says a lot about the players. You cannot get dominated versus Minnesota. Okay, and I'll give credit to Minnesota. I think they're a solid team. But again, they lost to Ohio State in a big way. They lost to Cal. They barely beat Purdue. They barely beat Buffalo for crying out loud. People will spin this oh, Minnesota's a great team. They're not. They're like a 7-win team at best. And the fact that we made all 3 phases of their ball game look great. We made Drake Lindsey look awesome. Darius Taylor looked awesome. Their defense looked awesome. It's not an indictment on them. It's an indictment on how bad we are. And how bad we were yesterday, at least. And also, Terry Brain needs, we need to talk about him because he's done a horrific job as Nebraska's defensive line coach so far. He can't recruit, he can't develop, he can't game plan, he can't do much. He was a bad hire coming in from the Chiefs. 4th segment. Let's talk about the positives. There's not many of them, but we try to keep it positive on the channel. I try to be an optimist at heart. There were some positives from yesterday. I know that they're very hard to pick out, but there were some good things that we could take going forward. Emmett Johnson had a good game. Again, he had 4.5 yards to carry with the worst offensive line in football. It's a shame that the offensive line didn't give him a chance to have that breakout game we were all expecting. It's a shame. The offensive line clearly does not care about Dylan, does not care about Emmett. They just care about the paycheck. I mean, that's what it is. You think Elijah Pritchett really cares? He's cashing in that $1 million that he got, along with the rest of these guys. That's just what it is. I mean, it's a culture issue up front with the offensive line. But Emmett, he played well with his limited opportunities. I thought the linebackers played really well yesterday. You know, Buda had 12 total tackles, a clutch PBU. Marcus Watson, he's back. I mean, he had 11 tackles, 1 sack. He was all over the field. I thought he played great. Deshaun McCullough had his moments. So overall, I thought linebackers played pretty well. And also, special teams played well yesterday. Arch had a couple clutch punch in there. Kyle Keenan went 2 for 2 with field goals. I mean, we had some good snaps in there. We didn't have an opportunity to have any punt returns, but still, we played pretty well on special teams. So again, there's some positives. There are always some positives to take away from it, but that brings us to the 5th segment. Where do we go from here? Because this was humbling to many of us. It really was, including myself. I thought Nebraska would win this ball game. I thought it was going to be close. Again, it's a family business. We constantly lose against Minnesota. PJ Fleck has our number. Feels like he always has our playbook, so I expect it to be close. I did not expect it to be like this. It was not close. We got dominated. I did not see this coming in a million years. I don't think anybody did, because I truly believe in our heart of hearts, every Nebraska fan thought we were more talented than this. And we thought that Matt Rhule was a better coach than this. This falls on Matt Rhule. It really does. Okay, we can sit here and blame the players, and the players are an issue, but the coaching staff is the number one issue. Okay, all the way around. Because it's clear we were not prepared for this ball game. When you get dominated against inferior teams, it's because you aren't coached very well. You either lose games because you don't have enough talent, or because you don't have good enough coaches. We had enough talent yesterday. We don't have good enough coaches all the way around. Now, those coaches can get better. They didn't have a good game plan, but they weren't prepared. You know, they were focused on other things all week long. They were focused on, us being ranked in the AP poll. They were focused on, what uniform combo are we wearing? Are we going to wear the all whites? Are we going to wear the pink helmet? They were worried about the rumors, all the hype, but they actually weren't focused on the bowl game in front of us on Friday night. They weren't focused on that. They were focused on everything else but that. That falls on the coaching staff. The staff failed, man. They failed. And they failed in multiple aspects. The talent evaluation in the offseason. We should have took more players in the transfer portal on the offensive line, the defensive line. The fact that we only took 3 defensive linemen, and one of those is only a good player, and that's Williams-Nary. We took Gabe Moore, who's a project, and we took Jalen George, who hasn't done anything all season. We should have took a lot more defensive linemen. We should have took a lot more offensive linemen. We bring in Elijah Pritchett, who's terrible. We should have brought in many more. I was calling for that all offseason long. We should have brought in a running back, to pair alongside Emmett Johnson. We should have brought in just more players at every single position. But we were greedy. We thought the players that we had coming back were good enough. That wasn't the case. And also, clearly, the staff failed with in-game decision-making. PJ outcoaches the game. Again, PJ, for whatever reason, he looks like Nick Saban whenever he goes up against Nebraska, because he has our number. And he has Matt Rhule's number, that's for sure. So I posed you this question going into the week. I posed you this question yesterday before the ball game. Is Nebraska different? Okay. Is Nebraska different? Because we were in the exact same scenario last year. We were 5-1. We played Indiana as the number 25 team in the country on the road on Fox, just like yesterday, and we got blown out. Very similar to today. We are not different. We just are. But we can still change the narrative, because we will find out if this team is different from how they respond going forward. We got hit in the gut. And here's what you do. You either crumble like you did last year and you end the year 1-5, barely making a bowl game at 6-6, or you come back stronger and you beat Northwestern. You give a good ball game against USC and potentially beat them. You beat UCLA. You should win that ball game. Okay, that's how you prove you're different. You win the games you should win. Not about win the flashy games. Win the games you should win. That's how you can be different. I'm not giving up just yet, guys. I'm not. Okay, we have flaws, and they're not going away. We're at that point in the season where you just can't fix much. We're not going to pick up a player for agency. We're not going to trade for somebody. That's not how it works. Okay, we have our pieces, we have our horses, and we got to roll with them. We got to race with them. We don't have the fastest horse in the race, unfortunately. We don't have great offensive linemen. We don't have great defensive linemen. We have to work around it. Dylan's not the best quarterback in the world. We have to work around it. But listen, I don't give up. A lot of people are giving up. It's one loss. We're still 5-2. Our schedule's still objectively easy. It really is. Okay. It's as easy as it gets in this conference. And I'll tell you this too. Just a couple of days ago, everybody was hyping up Matt Rhule. Everybody was saying, we can't afford to lose Matt Rhule. He's this great coach, this, that, and the third. We can't lose him. We can't lose him to Penn State. Don't forget that. There's reasons why everybody wanted him to stay at Nebraska, because we believe that he's a great builder, he's a developer, and he's going to bring us the consistency. We still believe that. There's still reason to believe in Matt Rhule. But here's what I'm frustrated with Matt Rhule, showing us every single week that he's not a good game planner, that doesn't make in-game decisions, he can't adjust, and he can't win the big game. He's proved that. That's why I'm disappointed with Matt Rhule, but I still believe that he will bring Nebraska to stability at the very minimum. So listen, we still have a good opportunity to get 9 wins. I think it's definitely possible. I still think we're a decent team. I really do. We're not a bad team. We're just not. We're probably average. We're a little bit above average, but we're not a bad team. People are giving up on the season saying, oh, we should bench everybody, fire everybody. What are we doing here? It's one loss, guys. If we lose against Northwestern, we can have that conversation, but it's one loss. Okay, we can move on. We can adjust. All hope is not lost, guys. We still have a really good opportunity in front of us. But we're going to find out how good Nebraska really is next week versus Northwestern, okay? Because Matt Rhule failed everybody yesterday. Dana Holgorsen failed everybody yesterday. John Butler failed everybody yesterday. Not Mike Eckler. Mike Eckler did a good job, but all the coaches failed. All the players failed. They weren't prepared. They didn't care. Let's see if some of these guys can put their money where their mouth is. And I'm looking at you, Matt Rhule. I'm going to end the video with this. Matt Rhule talked a lot in the offseason. Oh, this big year 3 jump. He expects when, at the end of the season, we're going to be in the mix for the playoffs, this, that, and the third. He said that Dylan Raiola will be a top quarterback in America. He made a lot of promises, and a lot of them haven't come true. But Matt Rhule, I'm telling you this, we can't do this again with you. I'm not giving up Matt Rhule. I'm a big Matt Rhule believer, as you guys know. But Matt Rhule has a horrific tendency when we get to the end of the year to forget how to win football games. Lost 5 of our last 6 last year. We lost, 3 of our last 4 in 2023. Okay. We know how to lose when it comes to October, November. We forget how to play football. Change that narrative this year, at the very minimum. Because I'm telling you, if we do the exact same things we did last year and we go 6-6 or even 7-5, the fan base will start to question you. They will, because that's not a big jump. And we're looking at our schedule in 2026. If you can't take advantage of this easy of a schedule, this is as easy as ever going to get in the Big Ten. Look at next year. Yeah. Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, some tough games. If you can't take advantage of this year's schedule, oh my goodness, next year it could be havoc for everybody. It really could be, because it's going to be hard. Really, really hard. Put your money where your mouth is. End the season strong. I still believe. Again, we have issues. They're not going away. Should we fire anybody? No, we got to roll with it. Should we bench Raiola? No. Believe in this team. Believe we can bounce back. Don't freak out. It's not over. It was a horrific performance. You got to stash. You got to learn from it. You got to bounce back. We will learn who this team truly is from how they bounce back. Yes, you got hit in the gut. Yes, you got hit in the face. Will you get up? Will you do something about it? Will you hit back, or will you crumble? Will you stay there? And will you give up? Nebraska in the past just gave up. Do something about it versus Northwestern, because that will really define our season. So, incredibly disappointing loss versus Nebraska. I'd say I was surprised, but I'm really not. We as Nebraska fans know that it can never come easy in this conference. It can never come easy when we were 5-1. It seemed a little bit too good to be true to be 5-1. So we got to go through some adversity, but continue to believe we'll be fine. And also just enjoy every single college football Saturday, because life goes on, and sooner rather than later, it will be over and we'll be stuck without football. So just enjoy it while it lasts. All right, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments. So again, let me know everything, what you're thinking down below in the comment section. Hey, if you made it this far on the live stream, or excuse me, if you made it this far on the video, hit that like button, hit subscribe. As always, folks, go big red, go Matt Rhule, and I'll see you in the next one.